folks. It's great to see you guys again. I missed you last weekend. I hope you had a beautiful 4th. I was celebrating with a friend's birthday and having a good time. So I hope all's going well. I hope you folks had a really good week this week. And I hope you got a chance to be with family on the 4th of July and kind of think about freedom, right? Real freedom. Today's topic, because I've been thinking about it a lot, today's topic is actually the mystery and magic of our mastermind. So I use this a lot. What's our mastermind? It's another word for imagination. Mastermind. But what else is it? Some folks in the cartoon world would call it our spidey senses. It's the place where inspiration comes. Someone says, oh, I just got this great idea. That's your mastermind. So today we're going to have some fun practicing with it. Because a lot of people this week, you know, they were like, I've been thinking about mastermind. I went back with my kids live, and a lot of them had worked with it because at Torchlight Music School where I teach, I'm a voice teacher, and we talk a lot about the mastermind because, check it out, your songs are inside your mind. So, for example, I'm just going to play a little flute to get us into our musical mind. And kind of get it going. Folks had asked for a little more flute this week, so I actually brought a lot of them, so we can have some fun today with that. So the first thing I do when I'm masterminding my flute is I'm not actually playing a song I know. It comes into my imagination just a little bit beforehand. So, you know, I might make a mistake as it comes out, but so I'm going to pause until that music starts. Now, for you, where your mastermind is, it's where the last song got stuck in your head. So go there. Go to the last time a song was stuck in your head. Try not to go to It's a Small World on the Ice Cream Truck unless you're desperate, because that would stay in your head forever. But go to a song that was stuck in your head. Now hear it. See if you can turn up the volume while you're hearing that song. Now see if you can lower the volume while you're hearing that song. This is us getting our hand on the dials of our mastermind. And don't worry, start easy. Start with hearing that song. The next time a song gets stuck in your head, practice with it. You know, stretch around with it, mess around with it. And it's a great way to practice. See, can I hear it a little louder? Hear it a little softer. Now, for my kids at the studio, I'll have them practice a singing line. And they're hearing it in their head, and I want them to hear it so loud that it shapes their face. Now, this was an extraordinary experiment the last couple of weeks. I would have them take a line from their head, but they had to go to their mastermind. Like, they couldn't just la la la. They had to and go in there and hear it until it made their face shape in their technique. Do you know, and I didn't think this was possible, 100% of everybody I tried for 2 weeks, when they went from the mastermind, they were in the perfect key. That's not ordinary. Most people do not have perfect pitch. For those of you who do, some of my flutes might, because the A is not perfectly set, especially the ones that are native made. So, sorry about that. But mastermind, yeah. So, if I can get a song perfect out of my head, stay with me. What if I get an awesome idea? Now, where we all make big mistakes is we get that awesome idea and then suddenly the ego part of our mind that tells us we're not good enough, it's the part that says we're not good enough, says, oh, it's too big, oh, you can't do that, you know, we all know that part of our voice. I recommend that we listen to that part of our voice this week, not to let it get us, but to recognize what it sounds like so that you can turn the channel, right? Just turn the channel. Because when it tells you no way, Jose, it's a lie. If Einstein only got 12% of his brain power, we get 88%. So anytime a part of us tells us we're not good enough, you accept that that is not true. Now, it might be informing an area we're scared, a little nervous, want to do a little extra work for ourselves. Totally cool. But when it says, you're not good enough, like every time before I step out here, and I'm like, no. The coolest thing, as I've said many times about this COVID experience, is people are stepping up and just doing what they can do. And they're doing it. There's a guy, he posts every single day. every single day. His name is Charlie D. How many people have survived COVID? Every single morning. And you know, I don't know Charlie D personally. He's a Facebook friend. But every single morning, I look forward to that because that is truth. That is a truth that I can hang on to for hope. See, folks, hope is what powers the mastermind. Hope, faith, love, things that excite us power the mastermind. They also keep us informed when we hear something that might not be true for us. Our intuition, you know, that pull in our gut, that's God, you know, that's Holy Spirit telling us, watch out, you know, follow those intuitions, practice them. But let's get back to mastermind first. So pretend you've got a song stuck in your head. Now, I'm going to play a little something from it. So, song comes out. I don't totally remember that melody, but that's coming from your mastermind. So, for those of you who your strongest suit is your hearing. So, how do I know my strongest learning suit is hearing? Go back into school in your mind. Would you watch what was written on the board? Was that the way you remembered, or was it more by what you heard? So, if it's more by what you heard, then your ear is going to guide. If it's more about what you remember by what you read, your eye will guide you. All right, so there's a little bit of that. Now, here is a flute that descended directly out of this. This would have been the first native one. This was one of the recorders, soprano recorder, used in the Brandenburg Concerto. And again, you guys might be like, what is your Sunday talk about with these flutes? These flutes, my dears, connected me as a child to my mastermind. They were my first instrument, and it was really a cool experience the day I found melodies like that. So what you want to find in your own life is what's something that gives you a little tiny joy. It might even be something you really enjoyed as a kid. That might be a good time to explore that now too. So, for example, now this has a more smoother tone. Let's go to the very first wind instrument. I think this is the first one. If it's not, I'd love for someone to let me know. Now, check it out. This is called an ocarina. This basically was to try to imitate the birds. Now, it sounds weird to us because it's not really scale tones. This is actually tones of nature. Now, why am I going after all of this? Tones of nature, flutes, like, what's the deal? The deal is, this is how frequency connects us with nature and our mastermind. It's all about our frequency. Now, let's talk about today's talk, the mystery and the magic of our mastermind and the might of it. Let's talk about all that. I'm going to start with a poem. So the mystery of our mastermind is that obviously when we talk about Einstein only capturing 12%, the mystery is that there's so much of our brain that the Creator gave us, that Holy Spirit passed on for us to use to reflect love, to reflect healing, to reflect peace, to reflect the greatness of the great Creator. So there's so much that we don't know yet. Now, right now, I do believe we are birthing the human race. And it's a tricky, tricky conversation. Because for as long as we divide our humanity into races, our human race is racist. Now, that doesn't mean we're all racist as it's being thrown out now. It's just saying, for as long as we recognize that we're not one race, meaning we're not one race, treating each part of that race fairly, with like a human etiquette. Gosh, I really hope a human etiquette comes out. And when people are hurt, they need to cry. And we need to reach out our hand and hold them. So today I'd like to start with this a little bit here. This is a poem that I wrote very recently. It was just this week. And I've been thinking about Black Lives Matter. I've been thinking about All Lives Matter. I've been thinking about how to honor everybody's needs right now. How do we think of the good of all? How do we do that? Because honestly, folks, that seems to be the thing out there we all need a little more help with. Is, you know, those of us watching a show like this with me, as me, you know, with me, we're together. We're trying to bring the light. We're trying to bring the light. And when we feel overwhelmed, you feel like, oh, why bother? That's what we're going to talk about today. Inside each of our masterminds, you will be given your thing to bring. You'll be given it. And then the next way you'll be given it, you'll be given just the next step. Just the next step. Don't let the bigness of the idea when it comes, let it excite you. Don't let it flip you out. It doesn't have to happen all at one time. You can go the next step. And the fun part about it is as the things keep coming to fill in your big vision, it's really, really, really cool to see it come to fruition. And it will, if we don't panic. Okay, so let's start right here. And I'm going to talk in between some of the paragraphs, because on the post where I posted my poem on my personal page, and you're welcome to come on, I have a little room, they're like, wow, there's a lot in one poem. So I thought I'd use it as my talk today. So, every facet of every face cries tears of heartache with loss they taste. A loved one gone, a wedding on Zoom. These four walls feel like a living tomb. And why is it hard to hear another and hold their hand when tears might fall? When did our compassion become so metered? Let's avoid the bypass and make the call. All of our issues now are different from another. Where is the threat to hear views that are other? I want to talk about that. If we are rooted in our mastermind, our connection with Holy Spirit, into our mastermind, and then out through our resources, how could we ever feel nervous hearing from another? Now, I know sometimes it's threatening to hear views that aren't like our own. We're all going through it from all sides. But I'm telling you, how do we become one human race if it's been slanted towards others? Everyone has to have a say, because every part of every race, every slice of this one human cake, ooh, I like that, every slice of one human cake, but every slice has their magnificent piece to offer. But if we don't get this part together where we're able to just listen to each other, then we'll lose out on the pieces. So I ask us, where is the thread? If it's different, you don't agree, no sweat. But this I know about us all. It hurts when any of us fall. We sob and scream at unspeakable loss, and we dance for joy when we feel the cause. We all want love. We all want care. We all want to matter and make sense of it here. There is no one who doesn't want these things as a human being. As a human being, we all want these things. And I'm sorry, but I'm a Trekkie from way back. Some of you on the screen absolutely know that. But let's get real. the bridge of the enterprise. It was founded on excellence. And what would be more hilarious than in our time of division and worrying about humanity? All it would take is one seriously green little alien for us to be like, oh, you're black, white, yellow, red. Oh, you're all right. Come on in. You're human. Now, that would be the hard way. This is our opportunity to get to it the easy way. Now, we're going to talk about the mystery of the mastermind, because mastermind takes discipline. It's like having a sports car. It's not like having a sports car. It is a sports car. Imagine going into your head, thinking your thought, getting the idea of the next things to do, and doing them. Well, that's what our mastermind can do for us. But if I own a sports car, I want to know how to drive it. I do. Now, mastermind, let's get back to it. Because, for example, a lot of us have a lot of different thoughts about what's going on here right now. We do. There's really no way to know the whole truth. It's not possible. Every bit of information that comes into our filter is screened by what we already think in our belief system. I have to say that again. Everything that comes through is pre-screened by what's in our belief system. So, for example, if I'm seeing something that's really concerning me, I want that information to light up. And I want my concern to be seen. But then, as I've said before, I want to know what I'm for. Because my mastermind, it's a sports car. But any sports car can drive down any road. This is where the discipline comes in, folks. And we all have to practice it. It's in our human nature to see some of the more negative things because we want to be safe. It's part of our animal nature. But it's important for us to keep our mastermind intact so that it's not just that reptilian fight or flight part of our brain. We can feel the fight or flight, and the mastermind can decide for our highest and best. What's our highest and best? How do we know? This is going to seem a little naive, but it feels good. I feel inspired. I feel empowered. I feel loving. I feel able to be more generous. When I'm having one of those days, that is not my best. And my mastermind has gone a little wonky. To be awesome, to be truthful, if my mastermind's gone a little wonky, it's not as easy to hear the signal. So again, don't worry if you're having a really hard day. Be sure to pat yourself first. Self-compassion is our way to actually try to show compassion to another. Because if we don't show compassion to ourselves, we don't have it for others. We can sort of pretend, we can push it like, no, I'm fine, and no, you're not, and then you crash, right? No, you tend to yourself. Then you know how to tend to and help another. And I think maybe we've been told to feel guilty about that. But that's important. Remember the airplane, put your mask on first. So let's go to this next part. I know we are anxious to hear every soul that's been hurt. We are. I am anxious to hear that because I am committed to one human race. All of us feeling great being part of it. It'll take some time. But, back. We, one and all, this human race, under the skin, we have one face. We're all made of light, far from here. And the fact that we love is the miracle, dear. So I'll hear you. Tell me your tale. What's it like under your veil? I want to know how you've been hurt and help you stand up and brush off the dirt. But after we talk, please take my hand, because if we don't rise, how will we stand? And if our anger boils at a bipolar pace, please, all of us, look at a child's face. Let's ask ourselves, all of us here, if we leave them what's happening, how could we dare? I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about the kids. Kids by nature are very resilient. Yes, they are. And I've taught kids for 30 years. Their resiliency is not the same as it was before COVID. So it's very, very important that We know that. Now, I had an amazing week with the kids, because guess what they take on to like a house on fire? The Mastermind. They are excited to practice the Mastermind. So as parents, as folks who work with kids, a great way to engage them is in Mastermind games. All you have to do is say, what was the last song stuck in your head? Really, it's as easy as that. You don't have to know a ton of stuff. And then they'll say, oh, I don't know. And then go in and say, hey, try to turn up the volume. Hey, can you see red? And then have them do it with you. Then see if you can do a little psychic game together. But all you're doing is you're just sharing imagination, practicing your Mastermind. You're letting them know that this very powerful part of their brain that is unto them their own. You're letting them know it's okay to get their own mind cooking, because that's what they need right now. There is a lot of disinformation going on, and we're not sure of everyone's intentions. I'm not sure of everyone's intentions. So I am training every single one of those kids that comes across my Zoom screen or live. A couple of them came live this week. It was fabulous. But I'm letting them know how to get to there, because I believe this will save them. And they will create a better world that's better connected to the Mastermind's information. That one fueled by love, fueled by care, fueled by inspiration, fueled by peace, fueled by excitement, fueled by joy. And you know, joy's not so easy right now. Some of us have survivor guilt when we're feeling joy. It's like, oh my gosh, so much is happening, and, you know, who am I to be able to rest it? But the truth is, who are we not to? If all of us take a moment where we find peace in the midst of that, shine that light. Shine it, shine it, shine it, shine it. We need it. So, when we feel this type of anger, when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel like, I don't really know, I don't really know what to do, I realized it was this. It's simple stuff. It's stuff that each of us can do really simply, just one at a time. Okay, here it comes. And all of us can own any one of these. One less insult. One less post. One less hashtag about hopeless hopes. One less last word to our ego. One more kindness than we thought we could do. One deep breath. Instead of a scream, one step forward towards the dream. One more I'm sorry. One less swear. One more compliment instead of insults to bear. One more chance to end a fight. I'd rather I love you than the need to be right. So these are things that I hope are really helpful this week. I hope you have a blast with your Mastermind. Play with it. Play with it. How can you play with it yourself? If a song gets in your head, listen to it. Mess with the volume. While you're doing it, it's being like, I'm playing with the Mastermind. If you have a big deadline, go into your stillness, breathe in. Go as calm as you can. A silent breath helps you go deeper. Like no sound at all. If you can do 3 of them, you'll feel really different. It's only 3. Don't do it driving, because you start to like space out, seriously. So, but 3, silent. Then just ask your Mastermind to give you the next idea. No. When the ideas first start flooding and coming in your head, you might get a little wigged out by that. But that's okay. That's okay. It's just floodgates opening. It's just floodgates opening, but it's okay. Our synapses are all meant to be able to handle it. But if at any point you feel overwhelmed, just take your breath and you stop for the day, and you've had enough to work with. So these are the things to think of this week. Number 1, just play with your Mastermind. If you're having a really, really, really hard day, try to catch 3 of those silent breaths and ask yourself, what's up? What's up? And just gently let it come. Even if it's something that's hard to hear. It might be hard to hear, but let it up. Because behind that hard to hear thing, or hard to do, or call that's hard to make, or I'm sorry, is freedom. Behind every grievance is a miracle. So if things have gone wrong, don't panic. Behind every grievance is a miracle. So I'm going to take it out with one of my oldest recorders. This is my alto. I would have to say this is the heart of my soul, is my alto. I've had her since I was 12. I won't tell you how long that is. You'll have to guess. She stopped singing for a while, so I had to carve her. I'll come kind of close because she's older. It's harder for her to sing. But, ooh, I just love her. So I'll take you out with this little mastermind. Have a great week, you guys. Touch base with me if you need anything. And I missed you so much last week. And thank you for being with me. It's really a gift to hang out together. And it lifts me up every week. So thanks a million bazillion. And here we go. Bye, folks. Have a great week. Take care. Together's better. Have a great one. Bye-bye.